الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا. من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه تسليما كثيرا. Recently, one of these famous footballers who are some of the richest people in this country and some of the heroes and the stars of ourselves, but especially our children. Our children look at these footballers as being examples for them. When I lived in Liverpool before coming here, I used to visit Mo Salah, worth $90 million. I used to visit the other one from Senegal. His name is Sadio Mane, $20 million. No one's sitting here with that kind of money. If one of them was outside this masjid and our children went out, they would go crazy. If one of them walked in right now to pray the salat, we would go crazy. In that masjid in Liverpool, the famous boxer, the Pakistani boxer, his name is Amir Khan. He came to the masjid and it was only about 3 minutes before the adhan. He came with an entourage, about 13, 15 people, and they were late. The first row was full. When he came in, the people saw him and they brought him right to the first row and they made people move over. And they were late. And they were standing up taking pictures with him in the masjid before the Jummah. And we know that the day of Jummah is for the ta'zeem of Allah. And we know that we were created for the ta'zeem and the ibadah of Allah. I don't have a problem with a Muslim who's famous. We're going to respect him. We'll be happy about that, especially if they have their deen. But some of us, crazy. When I came into the masjid and I saw what was happening, I changed the khutbah. And I talked about this issue. Some of them got mad at me. Get mad. I'm not here to make you happy or to get mad. I don't want any drama. But that nonsense, that mess, people are reading the Quran. The companions, when they came for Jummah, because this is a sunnah that is matruka, mahjura. When the companions came to the masjid for Jummah, before the imam came, they would pray 2 rakah, 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 until the imam came out. And what's the benefit of those 2 rakah? The mini salawat allati fatatkum. Those prayers you didn't make, those prayers to kamiluha. Those prayers fix them up. The fast that you missed in Ramadan when you were 17, 18, you missed Siyam and so forth, you make some on Monday and Thursday. They will complete those. Those companions, when they came to the masjid, they read Surah Al-Kahf. They made the dhikr sitting there. So the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam naha an at-tahalluq yawm al-Jum'ah. So on the day of Jum'ah, we can't give a dars before the khutbah. In some of these masjids, where the vast majority of the people speak English, as you do, a masjid of Asians, a masjid of Somalis, that's not our original language, Arabic. Our children in the masjid, we're going to get up on the minbar and speak to them in Arabic, and they don't know anything about the deen. They don't even know how to pray. So the imam gets on the khutbah and the minbar, he speaks in English, he speaks in Arabic, and there's no benefit in terms of understanding. So what do the Muslims do? Before it's time for the salat, someone comes and give a small talk in Urdu, in English. That's not permissible. Because there's no tahalluq, there's no halaqah before the Jummah. So when that man came, if there's no halaqah before the salat, what about all of this stuff, selfies and going crazy? That's a shirk, hurmat, tahrim, that thing. So one of these soccer players, football players, he kicked the cat. He kicked the cat, and then he slapped his own cat. His cat that's living in his mansion, in the big house, his mansion. I'm not against him having a mansion, but rest assured, his cat is being taken care of better than some human beings. So he kicked the cat. He slapped the cat. And then the cat started running around and he started throwing things at the cat. His brother filmed it, put it on social media. It went around. Now that soccer player, football player is in trouble. The whole dunya qamat bidduhu. He may lose his job. He may lose his job. And then they jump up and down the RSPC screaming animal rights, animal rights. I say to you as Muslims, the kuffar of America, Europe can't tell us anything about human rights. They can't tell us anything about democracy. Whatever they have of khair is already in the Quran, is already in the Sunnah. The Muslims are not in need of any tawjihat. That doesn't mean that they don't have some khair that they can give us. But some Muslims, we have this thing. We're second-class citizens. Whatever kuffar say, whatever white people say, then it's okay. But if the Nabi of Islam said it, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it's just the Sunnah. So they can't tell us about rights of animals. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, وَمَا مِن دَابَّةٍ فِي الْأَرْضِ وَلَا طَائِرٍ يَطِيرُ بِجَنَاحَيْهِ إِلَّا أَمْثَالُكُم مَا فَرَّطْنَا فِي الْكِتَابِ مِن شَيْءٍ. There is no animal walking on the face of the earth, and there is no bird flying in the sky, except they are they're an ummah, like you're an ummah. You have a mother, you have sisters, auntie, cousins, grandmother. You have that. The animals are the same way. Allah said He didn't leave anything out in this book. Everything you need to know about your religion, the dunya, the deen, is in the Quran. Everything. So they are nations unto us. The Prophet ﷺ told us in authentic hadith, قَرَسَتْ نَبِيٌّ قَرَسَتْ نَمْلَةٌ نَبِيًّا فَأَمَرَ النَّبِيُّ بِقَرْيَةِ النَّمْلِ فَأُحْرِقَتْ فَأَوْحَى اللَّهُ تَعَالَى إِلَيْهِ أَنْ قَرَسَتْكَ نَمْلَةٌ وَاحِدَةٌ فَأَحْرَقْتَ أُمَّةً مِّنَ الْأُمَمِ تُسَبِّحُ اللَّهَ. There was a Nabi from the Anbiya. An ant came and it bit him. قَرَسَتْهُ. It bit him. Black ant, red ant. Some of them hurt. Some of those ants are hurt. They have ants called killer ants. They'll kill you. So the Nabi who got bitten by the ant told the people, burn this colony of ants, because he harmed me. So they burnt him. Allah Ta'ala revealed to him, only one ant bit you, and you burned all of them, and you burned an ummah from the that worship Allah. When you burnt those ants make tasbih to Allah, and you killed them. This is a hashara from the hasharat. They can't tell us about animals, and they can't tell us about hasharat. That's our religion. Even hasharat have hukuk in our religion. Even hasharat. Allah Ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا يُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِهِ. There is nothing in the earth except that it makes tasbih to Allah. وَلَكِنْ لَا تَفْقَهُونَ تَسْبِيحَهُمْ. You don't know how they make the dhikr of Allah. So that deek, in the morning, the rooster makes that sound because he saw an angel. And it's time for Fajr. The donkey makes that sound because he's let the people know there's a shaitan around here. They make dhikr, but you don't know the dhikr unless Allah Azza wa Jal informed us. The Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Everybody knows the position of the dog in Islam. And unfortunately, during this time, we have Muslims giving tarbiyah to dogs, not to take care of their animals, but they get strength out of them. They show other people, I'm strong, I'm tough, I'm a gangster. And he walks around with a dog. He says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, لولا أن الكلاب أمة أمثالكم لأمرت بقتلها. If those dogs were not an ummah, like you an ummah, I would have told you, kill all the dogs. But the dogs have a wazifa. They have a job. They can help. And from the most important wazifa of a dog is that it makes tasbih to Allah. He didn't create that dog abethan. We don't need now Muslims to come and tell us about animal rights in our deen. He told us, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, دَخَلَتِ امْرَأَةُ النَّارِ فِي هُرَّةٍ مَسَكَتْهَا. There was a lady from the Muslims who went to the hellfire because of a cat. You have a cat in your house, and your 2-year-old, 3, 4-year-old kid is pulling the tail, swinging him around, putting his neck in the door and squeezing the door in his head. A lady went to the hellfire because of a cat. She held the cat in her house. She didn't feed the cat, nor did she let the cat go out to eat from the hashash. You know the hasharat, the insects of the earth and the leaves of the earth, or whatever the cat wanted to eat. You can have a cat. You can have a cat. They say, Ya Rasulullah, what about the cats? What about the cats? We know about the dog. If one of them licked in our bowl, you have to wash it out 7 times. The first time, ulahunna biturab. We know about the dog. What about the cat? He said, hunna min tuwafat alaykum. Those cats, they live with you. They're okay. They're not najasa. They can sit on you. If they eat from your food, not butts, no problem. That lady went to the hellfire. The opposite of that is another lady who was imra'atun baghiya. She was a lady, a prostitute. It was her job. She went to the Jannah because of a dog. She gave it some water. You can't tell us about animal rights. You can't tell us about democracy. You can't tell us about justice. You can't tell us about religion. You can't tell us about brotherhood. You can't tell us about insaniya. You can tell us some stuff from what you have in your books that's muharrafa. But in our religion, the Muslim has everything he needs. So many issues. Just imagine, the Nabi of Islam is sitting with his companion, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. As he's sitting, a camel came to him, and everyone saw the camel. He came, Prophet Muhammad looked, the camel put his head down and started talking to the Nabi. Now I know that there's some people who say, oh, you believe that? White people don't believe that. Europeans don't believe that. How do you believe, ya akhi mutakhallif? White people don't believe that. French people don't believe that. The camel started talking. Rasulullah became angry. وَاشْتَدَّ غَضَبَ قَالَ لِمَنْ هَذَا? Who does this belong to? The man said, Ha ana that, ya Rasulullah, it's mine. He said, no, اشْتَكَلِي. It's complaining about you. This camel said, you put too much on him and you work him all day and you don't feed him enough. You don't give him enough water. The man said, Ya Rasulullah, free the animal, fi sabilillah. And the animal was walking around Medina with no problem. And that happened a lot. And we could give you many examples. So before we eat the meat that we eat, he told us, sharpen your knife. لِيُحِدُّ أَحَدَكُمْ شَفْرَتُهُ وَلِيُرِيحْ ذَبِيحَةً. Don't hurt the animal. Make it sharp. One time, have rahmah on the animal. You can't tell us about animal rights. You can't tell us about the rights of the husband. You can't tell us. And whatever you tell us, it's just what our religion already told us. So now when the dunya jumps up and down because of the cat, we're going to say from here, what that man did is a problem. Shows something is wrong. Why you hit the cat like that? Why you kick the cat like that? That's a delil. Something wrong with you. You're a qadir on something da'if and you do something to him. The person who's strong and he has rahmah on the da'if or the da'ifa, that's a sign of sharaf and fadl. He could beat his wife up. He could beat his kids up. He gets into an altercation in the street, he can beat the guy up. But the Muslim is the one who says, no, I'm not going to do that. Can't tell us about animal rights in our religion. But now we come to the issue of our religion and animal rights. Are animals more important than human beings? Yawm al-Qiyamah, a bird will come. A bird will come. And the bird was killed by someone who took him as target practice. Some of these people, not only do they steal gold, diamonds from Africa, not only do they steal oil and gas from Africa and the resources, not only that, but they go there for play. They shoot elephants and shoot animals and then take pictures by the animal and leave it. The bird will come Yawm al-Qiyamah and say, Ya Rabbi sal hada, limada qatalani. Ask him, why did he kill me? The bird came out to get some food to take back to the nest. When you killed them, you effectively killed his babies. Now they're going to die. And in Islam, this hadith shows the tamam, adl of Allah. Now some of you sit there and say, yes, you killed the bird. Yes, I'm going to sharpen my knife. Yes, al-adl, al-ihsan. But then when it comes to your wife and the mu'amala to your wife, come on. You get benefit of this hadith about the bird. You want to have rahmah to the bird, and you should. But what about your wife? What about your husband? What is your mother, your father? What about the Muslims? So we say to our community, as Allah said, لَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Allah has honored Adam's children. They're not animals. Animals are not above us. Which brings me to the issue. Yes, animal cruelty is a problem. Kicking that animal. It was so bad that the people were sensitive. If you go back right now on the internet to watch it, they'll show it and they'll stop it before he kicks them. Why? Because they feel it's inappropriate. It's like someone gets shot and it's on the video. They'll stop it before he hits them or stab them. Because it's not from the vote, unless you're in the Arab world. Arabs show everything. The Arabs show everything. They don't care. That's the Arab world. You want to see Daesh make ta'veeb of people? La hawla wa la quwwata. I ansahu. Don't look at that stuff. It'll make your heart dead that a man could do that to another man, hitting them with stuff. Amazing. Putting them in a cage and putting them underwater and drown to death. Only in the Arab world they do that. These kuffar won't do that. لأنه ليس من الذوق. So we say, Allah has honored Bani Adam. Don't make the animals more important than human beings. Democracy. Democracy? I give you a taste of democracy. In Afghanistan recently, kama ta'alamun, we made dua for the Afghanis from this masjid. For the Taliban. I don't agree with everything about the Taliban. Da'utullah yuwaffiqhum. Muslims got their freedom after 40 years of dhulm. Dhulm that was designed to destroy them. And the enemy left. We were happy for that. There were a group of people who came and said, oh, look at these animals. These poor animals. So they gathered up some dogs, gathered up some cats, they gathered up some ghanams, 200. And then they said, we got to take them back to the UK, RSPC, animal rights. They brought them back. The Afghanis who helped them, they helped them to gather all of this stuff because they wanted to get out of Afghanistan because of the problems. They gathered their stuff. They said, can we come? They said, you can't come. We're just taking the animals. We have to take them back to England to help the animals. So what happened to the Afghanis? You saw like I saw. From desperation. Not because they don't love their country. They don't love their soil. They don't love what their ajdad did. Not because of that. They want a better life like everybody else here. They want their children to get an opportunity. What did we see? We saw that same plane taking off and the Afghani human beings, Muslims, got on a plane and the plane took off and they were falling off the plane. The animals inside the plane and the human beings outside the plane. And you're going to tell me animal rights? وَلَقَدْ كَرَّمْنَا بَنِي آدَمَ. Don't tell me about a cat. Slap a cat and the dunya cries. And the examples of that are many, many. I told you about this a long time ago. A long time ago. The two giraffes in America, they were transporting them and they hit their bridge with their head and they died. America, the whole dunya came up. They killed the two poor giraffes. I'm not making this stihza about the giraffe. I love the giraffe. If I had money, I'd get a giraffe for my kids. Put them in the backyard. The point is, giraffe is not like a human being. What about the million people from Syria who have died because of your siyasa? What about the million Iraqis who died? What about Afghanistan, Kashmir, Palestine? And you telling me about a cat? And you telling me about a cat? So I say to our brothers, Muslims, if white people is okay, they know white people like it, they don't, what you talking about? Allah brought us a religion and gave us a religion that makes the mawazeen and troth. So we don't go overboard in these types of issues. As it relates to Ikhwani, it's really important we have to mention this. In America, there was an African man. They call him Ahmed, from Senegal, in New York City. Amadou Diallo. He had nothing to do with it. He was going home, Muslim, going up to his family. The police were chasing another man. They came to this brother. They were looking like plain clothes. They didn't like police. He was going in his room, in his house. They thought it was him. They said, hey, stop. He had his key out. He turned around. 4 police shot him 45 times. Did you know that the gun of the police in America only has 9 bullets? 9 bullets. It's supposed to be 36 bullets. If they each one of them in, that means that they shot it and reloaded. He had bullet holes through his feet. Which means what? When he fell down, they kept shooting him. You telling me about a cat? You want to tell me about a cat? I'm African American. I stand before you. I go back to America to visit my mother. They'll kill me because of my color. I didn't do anything but because of my color. You saw the man, George Floyd, for 10 freaking minutes. 10 minutes. The police put their leg on that man's neck for the world to see. And they choked him to death until he died. And you're going to tell me about an animal? No, you don't tell me about an animal. I'm going to tell you about Zulm and Kufr. So we have to be a people who are balanced. And the deen of Islam, our religion, Ikhwani, does not say don't take from non-Muslims. I told you many times here, why are we here? We're looking for opportunities. There's a lot of good things about being here. The problem is when we let the raya of the kuffar be the flag for us. That's the problem. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ونسأل الله التوفيق والسداد. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا وطيبا مباركا فيه. You know another problem? Big problem. Is this footballer with all this money, 20 million pounds to kick a football? Now I know how it is to like sports. I like American sports. I like American football. Even here, snooker. I like snooker. I'm a fan of Ronnie O'Sullivan. If I meet that guy, I'm going to say, hey, what's your life story? Give him dollar. I'm not like somebody who's crazy. I like sports like everybody else. But I don't worship those people. Mo Salah comes right here. I'm not falling down to Mo Salah. Zidane comes here. I'm not falling down for that guy. I respect him. Jay-Z, the rapper, I want to know who you are. I'm not falling down on the floor for them people. The heroes in Islam, the Anbiya, salawatullah wa salamu alayhim. Now listen to this. I don't even know these people. I know the famous ones. Ronaldo, I know the famous ones. The only soccer player I knew growing up was Pele. And he was okay. He wasn't like Muhammad Ali. At least Muhammad Ali, rahmatullah alayhi, was a Muslim, African American, and he was strong. He stood up for the hukuk of black people. Pele, they asked him questions, he was apolitical. I don't want to get involved. And that's his choice. The point is, these footballers are not examples for us. My wife told me, and this is why I'm giving this khutbah. She said, Abu, you know what happened? I said, what happened? She said, I went in and I talked to Ayub. He was playing on the machine, on the thing, playing soccer, FIFA, and he was sad. I said to our boy, Ayub, what's going on? Ayub said, oh, my man is in trouble. Who's your man? His name is Mason Greenwood from Manchester United. Famous guy. He beat up a girl, they're saying. The girl took pictures, blood running all down her. Her head is big, bruises all over her. When they went to arrest him, they charged him with more stuff. Rape, with all kind of problems. My wife said, hey boy, rape? What do you know about rape? What is rape? My boy said rape is when a man does it with a woman. How did he get that knowledge? Through these footballers. And as I look at his audience, your children are no different than mine. Growing up looking at these people. I like Mo Salah. I like him as a person. Humble. And I'm not saying this to say like anything that's not public. Mo Salah every year puts Santa Claus on. Every year puts Santa Claus on. Muslim. The Muslim soccer player, footballer. He goes and he's getting caught in public with a girlfriend. Drinking, smoking. And those are the people our children are looking at. So that's a lesson for us to learn. This guy who kicked that, whether he's white, black, African, Muslim, whatever, the Muslim is not the one who looks at these people as his hero. The heroes in Islam are the Anbiya of Islam. Salawatullah wa salamu alayhim. And then after them, the companions, Ridwanullahi alayhim. And then after them, the Salihun of the Quran and the Sunnah. Like that woman who went to Jannah and she was a prostitute. She's a hero in Islam. Insaniya, she's a hero. And then we have these women who are people who make zina and so forth. And our children look at. One of them is running long distance for our country. She wins for Algeria. The 8,000 meter. She wins 7,000 meters. She's from Morocco. And we're happy. I understand. It's representing our country. But she ain't got no clothes on. She doesn't have any clothes on. And it's as if that doesn't even happen. All we're worried about is al-Qawmiyah. It's not my country. It's my country. Is that Islam? Can you imagine that the companions were on that? So don't misunderstand me, Abdullah. Don't anybody leave this message thinking I'm against sports. I'm making fadiha to Mo Salah. What Mo Salah did, what he did was in public. He was in a magazine with the supermodel. She ain't got no clothes on. And this is what happens. We choose Muhammad Ali. I love that man. I love what he stood for. I love the fact that he was knocking people out. People I didn't like. I like that. But more than anything, I love that he stood up like a man. But he said things and he did things that I can't condone. So the Muslim has to have filters, Ya Abdullah. He has to have filters. Because it's my country, man, it's okay. No matter what they do, they give an honor to my country, it's okay. Kalla wallahi. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us the tawazun and iqtidal in our religion. The way our tasawwur is of things. We can't be bound, we can't be unbalanced. We don't need these non-Muslims to be telling us anything. When there are contradictions, weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. And because of that, to this very day, this very moment, the Middle East is messed up even more than it's ever been. And the Shabab of the Middle East, especially the Khalij, the Shabab of the Middle East are in trouble. So what's going to happen? So with that being the case, it's a wake-up call. Stay balanced. Let your kids watch football. Let your kids look at these people. No problem. Wallahi, billahi, tallahi. Those football players in Liverpool, they used to let me bring my kids to their mansion. They give us food. And then we go in the back of the house and they play soccer. And they play soccer with my kids. They give the masjid 20 grand, 30 grand. That other one from Senegal, Sadio, came to the masjid after Asr. He was cleaning the masjid, rolled up his clothes, and he was in there cleaning the masjid by himself. I'm not here to talk bad about him. But if you saw his life, that at least he hides it. But when you go in his house, you can see. You go in his house, you can see. The heroes in Islam are the ones that we mentioned. May Allah Azza wa Jalla accept it from us and you. May Allah Ta'ala protect our children from the inhiraf that comes from these types of issues when there's no ishraf. There's no supervision. Supervise your children. Sit down with your children. But before we can do that, we have to clean our own brains, our own minds, at the way we are understanding these issues. And Allah Ta'ala, He's our wali and He's qadun ala dhalik. Aqimus salat. Yarhamakumullah.
Allahu Akbar. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. سبحان الله. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. فذكر إنما أنت مذكر لست عليهم بمسيطر إلا من تولى وكفر فيعذبه الله العذاب الأكبر إن إلينا إيابهم ثم إن علينا حسابهم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.